Yeah, it says you have no video though. Oh, there you go.
Oh, hey. There we go. Probably Twitch. It's usually Twitch. I fixed it though so that I have, I think, 60 seconds to reconnect. And it won't create a double video. So hopefully we're all still solid. Perhaps not. What does Streamlabs say? Well, it does say, how long have we been streaming for? Let me see if I can find the previous video. Video producer. Oh, it did still cut it into two. Then what's the fucking point? So we're at 2:20, so we have another hour and 40 to go. I'll have to remember that. Okay. Duly noted. Thank you for your little diligent sand circle.
Yes, of course.
Two tanks. Oh, it's dead. I even popped my delirium. No. Sorry there wasn't much time to shout a warning. Were you bitten? Those things can be nasty. And yet, hardly a match for you, it seems. I'd always thought Alize was strong, but in her mind, she was never... Now it makes sense. Ahem. Well, shall we push on? It might be best if you scout ahead and clear out any coyotes that have our scent. I'll wait here so you can fight without any distractions. Oh. Missing out on the Aether Acre?
Yeah, I did my thing. It's like, oh, 29 malms south. And I went west instead. Because I didn't realize which way I was facing. What the hell?
What?
I got more things on me.
How did this happen?
That's why I said, what the hell? I backed up 2 steps and they started attacking.
No, it was a... I don't know, it's something that happens specifically during Final Fantasy streams where we just like... My Streamlabs says everything's fine, but Twitch has like shut it down anyway. We just go off the air. I have to I have to close the stream and then reopen it. It's really weird. It's always Final Fantasy streams, so I wonder if it's just Twitch and Saturdays and Sundays are busier streaming days, especially at this hour. Oh, thank goodness you're back. I could hear the howling and snarling from here. Frightful creatures. Let's hope the rest have seen your handiwork and know to avoid us now. I need to get these supplies back to the inn. stream, like, the stream couldn't crash while I was, like, AFK. Like, it had to do with the moment I sat back down. Dang, things really want a piece. Getting aggro from Miles. They should walk away, yeah. That's it! Thanks to you, I don't have to drop my shopping even once. Come to think of it, I'm glad I didn't make the trip alone. It seems you ended up escorting me. I'll have to repay the favor somehow. But first, let's head inside, shall we? Welcome to the inn at Journey's Head. You might be our first visitor from the Crystarium since Alizé arrived. It's not much, but it's home for the afflicted and a handful of, carers. The afflicted? You don't know? I don't think I've ever met anyone besides Alizé who was so unfamiliar with our situation here. Most folk have grown up knowing someone who knew someone. I might leave out something obvious, so it may be best to have Alizé give you the full explanation. Tesleen casts her gaze around the inn, hoping to spot Alizé. Now, where is she? I think she might be out on patrol. You could wait, I suppose, but why not go and surprise her? She usually takes a look at things from the watchtower first, so you might be able to catch her there. It's not far. Head out the south side and you'll soon see it. I'll stay behind in case she comes back while you're gone.
Even without touching the rock?
Whoa! Good call. Your chocobo is so yellow.
Crunch wraps are great.
Woohoo! Those were your nuggies you wanted.
Yeah. They were.
You can see the wall of light and like the building stuck in it. Alizé is nowhere to be seen, but you spot fresh footprints on the ground, and they look to be about the right size. Oh, they're right there. The small footprints lead off to the northwest. The footprints continue on to the northwest. You're gonna attract every zombie. Yeah. Damn it. The footprints curve around to the west. I was so far away from this zombie. How have you not attracted that zombie right in front of you, actually?
I'm amazed.
There are more tracks here, and the end in a mass of disturbed sand.
Get back here! Is that... It can't be.
You almost lost that one.
I had it under control, right up until the moment I didn't. I'll do better next time. I knew you'd turn up sooner or later, but I had been hoping for sooner. How are you? We've fought them to a standstill, then. The XIV did say that the Empire seemed to have drawn back when he last looked in on the source. But without knowing for sure how fast time was passing there, I couldn't help worrying that a lot might have happened since then. I'm heartily relieved to hear that it hasn't, just as Alphino must have been. As you can imagine, both he and Urianger were desperate to hear the news from home when I arrived. I haven't actually seen Thancred and Y'shtola yet, but they will have heard all the latest developments from the XIV by now, or should have at least. When I think of how frantic Tataru and the others must be, I want nothing more than to rush back and reassure them. But we still haven't found a way to reverse the summoning. And even if we had, we couldn't just ignore Urianger's vision. He may use 10 words where one would suffice, and they may often obscure as much as they reveal. But on this matter, he was as clear as day. I do not doubt for one moment that he saw what he claims. Nor how difficult it must have been to speak about them. The 8th Umbral Calamity and your death aren't exactly topics for idle conversation. As much as I might want to go home, I don't want to go home to that. We can't allow the rejoining to happen, which means we have to save the first from the Sin Eaters. That great wall of white is a remnant of the flood. 100 years ago, the balance in the first tipped decisively in favor of light. From that moment, it rose and swelled with each passing day, and then, without warning, it burst forth like water from a broken dam. A colossal wave of pure light, drowning everything in its wake. Only Norvrant was spared. For the most part, living things are composed of ether of various different aspects. But when exposed to such a flood, their etheric harmony is shattered, and their natural form breaks down. Then they either perish, or are warped into mindless abominations. Yes, that's how the Sin Eaters came to be. They were once living creatures, or people, that were caught in the path of the flood. Once the change is wrought, there is no going back. In that instant, they are gripped by an insatiable appetite for ether, and will happily gorge themselves on any living thing within reach. But even that is not the worst of it. The stronger sin-eaters can plant light in us, like seeds in soil, corrupting our ether and triggering the birth of new monstrosities. They are creatures of base instinct that exist only to feed and to multiply. They feel no pity, know no remorse, and are utterly deaf to reason, which is why they must be destroyed. Every last one of them. The infirmary is full of the Sin-Eater's victims, left here to spend their final hours waiting for the change to overtake them.
It's just a matter of time, more or less. More for some, less for others. Those patients will all become monsters in the end. And to add insult to injury, the afflicted are feared, shunned, cast out of society, and exiled here to the edge of the world. The only good thing I have to say about this hellish place is that it has served me well as a training ground. Tasleen and the others have also been kind enough to share knowledge of the Sin-Eaters, which is knowledge I can now share with you, while you help me finish my patrol, of course. Alize would help you finish her patrol. Here's what we'll do. I'll take the east side of the inn, and you clear the west. That way you can have an undiluted experience with the resident terrors. These marks on your map are where our usual trouble spots are. You can assume that any beast with a white hide or carapace is a Sin-Eater, but you'll know for sure soon enough when you see them come slavering after your aether. Remember, it's kill or be killed with these monsters. Once you've slain whatever's prowling around out there, we can rendezvous back at the north entrance. Good hunting. Please, let me live my life. I've never actually played Bayonetta, so I don't know. I know, like, angels are bad in Bayonetta? Maybe? Do you know anything about Bayonetta, Q?
No. I'm what they call a fake gamer girl.
Oh, fake gamer girl.
Yeah.
And you only play fishing games.
Or puzzle games.
How did you fare? I thought there might be one or two lurking on the fringes. Nothing out of the ordinary for this area. I expect you noticed it yourself, but individually these lesser sin-eaters are no more deadly than the natural predator you might encounter in the desert. It's when they appear in numbers that they pose a threat. Much like the Voidsen, they have an unfortunate tendency to flock to the strongest of their kind. Thus, when a powerful sin-eater goes on the hunt, it might be attended by a veritable swarm of weaker kin. Imagine an army of such creatures descending on a village or hamlet. That's the basic idea behind my patrols, to cull their ranks often enough that their numbers won't be overwhelming when the big ones come out to play. And you've certainly helped on that front. Let's report our victories to Tesleen, shall we? She hasn't been telling you stories, has she? Oh, gods. Alice tells me you helped out on her patrol. You have our thanks, and my apologies for leading you from one battle to another ever since the moment we met. In any case, I'm glad to see the two of you have found each other. You have no idea how badly Alice has missed your company. Everything is always, if Akali were here, she would... That's an exaggeration, and I don't sound like that either. I was simply trying to view matters from another perspective, and I respect Akali's methods. Honestly, after seeing her in action, I can understand why. The way she leaps into the fray without hesitation. It really is something to behold. I might be a little smitten myself. I'm only teasing, though I've no doubt she deserves all the admiration she gets, just as you do. Oh shoot, I forgot I actually had a good helmet on. Well... Tesleen has the air of a woman being pulled in 10 directions at once. I'd love to lay out a welcome meal, but the duties I put off when I went to the market are still waiting on me. There are 101 things that need doing. I'm sorry, but would you mind waiting here with Alize? What, and twiddle our thumbs while you work yourself to death? Surely there's something we can help you with. I could do with a hand, it's true. Thank you. You can start by helping me sort out the larder. Alize, while we do that, you could tend to the few patients, perhaps. There are 3 in particular I mean to visit. It's just a matter of saying a few words to them and seeing that their skin isn't caked in sand. Their names are Ponwinel, Todden, and Halric. They may not give much in the way of response, but I promise they'll be pleased to meet someone new. Thank you. Todden glances up at you blankly, but you notice the tension in his face ease slightly. Halric remains utterly still as you wipe the sand from his cheek. The texture of his skin has hardened into something akin to plaster. Your work is done then? You've seen to the patients? How were they? Good, that's good. I knew they would enjoy meeting you. I'm concerned about Halric, though. I'll have to speak with the other carers, but I think his time may be near. We shall leave you to have that discussion then. I was going to take Akali to Mordsuk. If you have any errands there that need doing. Well, I suppose there is one thing. Would you pick up some nectarine from the markets, please? Cassard's caravan just passed through, so Ronron should have some fresh fruit. Come then, Akali. There's something I want to show you. Right after we stop at Ronron's stall, of course. I know we could have teleported, but when we hit new zones, I like to run around them a little bit. I heard your snowflake, yeah. Oh, back again, are you? You need another taste of Ronron's wares? Actually, we're looking to buy a nectarine. Do you have any in stock? Oh yes, nectarines, peaches, grapes, fresh and juicy. Given how richly you cracked your coin purse with me, I might still owe you food. Here, take this one, free of charge. Gods, I've never seen a moored merchant give away something for nothing before. How much coin did you spend here? Oh yes, I'll take a jar of honeyed worms as well. Huh? Oh no, they're not for me. It's an offering of sorts. The worms, if you please. Only the best wigglers from you. Come again, my friends. Right, that's our shopping chores taken care of. Let's head up past the Aetherite to the main tower. The view I want to show you, can only be seen from the very top. Here are your precious worms. That buys us a trip to the tower, does it not? Glazed wigglers! You actually brought them! I really shouldn't let you, but just this once, alright? Only once! Never fails, shall we?
Look, over there, where the wall is broken. Do you see what lies beyond? That's what the land became after the light flooded in. An empty white nothingness. Life cannot exist in such conditions. The primordial light would wreak havoc on the body's etheric balance. That nectarine you bought, it's Halric's favorite fruit. Most of the patients, Halric included, survived the attacks of powerful eaters. But their fate was sealed all the same. The monster's corruption has entered their bodies, and their very essence is being subsumed by light. The twisted state of the world itself just makes matters worse. Under normal circumstances, a person's ether naturally tends to equilibrium. But for these poor souls, the opposite is true. Sooner or later, every single one of them will turn. Tesleen and the patients, they all know this. They know what has to be done before the change goes too far, before the eater within takes over. The preferred method is mixing poison into their favorite food. In my time here, I've borne witness to a lot of last meals. I feel just as helpless as before. No matter how hard I fight, it's never enough. But it's a war I mean to wage, nonetheless. Speaking of wars, do you remember how I made you promise not to leave me and then promptly collapsed? Well, let's just say I had a few choice words for the Exarch concerning the timing of his summons. But even if the fault lay with someone else, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd abandon you on the battlefield. So I swore that I'd make up for my absence there by making a difference here. And that's what keeps me moving forward, even when things seem hopeless. On which note, it's time we headed back. The longer we keep Tesleen waiting, the harder this will be for her.
I'm glad I was able to show you that. When it comes to understanding the catastrophe which befell the first, one glimpse of the empty wasteland beyond the wall is worth more than an hour of Urianje's lecturing. And I needed you to know beyond a doubt that Tesleen has no other choice. The nectarine will be a kindness. It isn't just the threat posed to others. When a person becomes an eater, the pain appears to be excruciating. The carers are truly fond of their wards and would spare them that suffering. It is their way of fighting back against a fate worse than death. I don't know if I have either. Have you had a nectarine, Miss Q?
No.
I feels like I probably have, but then like when I think about it over much, I'm like, no, probably not actually. I probably actually haven't had a nectarine. You're back. I hope you had a nice time. Did you manage to find a nectarine? Thank you. Alize's explained why I wanted this, has she? I can see it in your eyes. But we may not need it just yet. I spoke with the others, and we've decided to keep an eye on Helric for now. Thanks to you, though, if his time does suddenly come, we'll be ready to send him on his way with a taste of happier days. Thank you for understanding. Tesleen has made an effort to smile brightly. Well, nothing is going to happen for a little while yet, so let's see if we can't lighten the mood. We don't want our gloomy faces worrying the patients. I think it's time for that welcome meal, don't you? Take a seat and I'll make us a nice stew.
Speak up if you'd like another helping. I made a little bit more than usual today.
And you've added something special to the broth, if I'm not mistaken.
Aye, well, it's not often we have visitors from the Crystarium, so I may have thrown in a few extra bits and bobs.
I'll have another bowl then.
That's what I like to hear. Give me a moment to warm up the pot. In a place like this, you learn to take what moments of happiness you can get. I remember when I first came here with my mother. She was showing the early signs. I knew there was no way to save her, but I just couldn't face what needed to be done. That's the way of it for most people. Why they travel for moms to stay here. Beaten, broken souls come to wait out the inevitable, to receive the mercy of a painless death. When my mother finally left this world, I was mad with grief, but also thankful that her passing was a peaceful one. It's never easy, ending a life you've cared for, even when you believe they go on to a better place. I often find myself wishing the Warrior of Darkness would come and do that part for me.
The Warrior of Darkness?
You've never heard the tale? I'm not sure where it began, but every child in Norvrant could tell you a version of it. Warrior of Darkness, servant of death, take care of our souls at our dying breath. Let sinners and eaters of sin go with thee, that all may return to the sunless sea. Well, that's the version I was taught anyway. It's just an old bedtime story. He's certainly never deigned to visit us here.
Which is a good thing, surely. He sounds rather ominous.
Do you think so? I always liked the idea that he treated every soul the same, even the Sin Eaters.
They're coming.
Desleen! Have you seen Halric? I swear, I only took my eyes off him for a moment.
Where could he have gone? This is my fault. The patients were acting strangely and I let it distract me. Akali, LSA, we have to go look for Helric. I don't know what's gotten into him, but if he's wandering out there alone. We'll assign search areas and split up. Any idea where he might be headed? No, he's never done anything like this before, but it can't be a coincidence that the other patients are suddenly so agitated. They can sense something. In any case, let's keep the search close to the inn. Halric isn't very sure on his feet, so he won't have gone far. I'll search the east side. Please, Halric, please be alright. I'll cover north and west then, and you take everything from here to the south. No matter how hard I try, in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Didn't Eureka have done something to help you dodge things?
What?
Well, because in Eureka, don't you have to like dodge all the enemies?
Yeah, they don't work the same. It doesn't. These monsters don't work the same. They have an aggro pull that they will. So even if I'm behind them, like watch, they'll still usually come for me. Well, thanks for not proving my point very well. I'm very good at dodging monsters in Eureka. How dare you? You see no sign of Helric. Maybe he went further west. Yeah, I have to wait for them to have their backs turned, which I don't have time for. Some are sound-based. I don't think anything here is sound-based, though. You scan your surroundings in search of Helric, and suddenly find yourself under attack.
Any sign of him? No luck then. But he surely can't have gone far. We should keep looking. The Sin Eaters are out in force, and if we don't find him soon, you can be sure they will. Did you see the size of that thing? It must be one of the nasty ones. Wherever it's going, it can only mean trouble. After it! There it is! Is that... Oh no! Ulrich! We have to run! Tesling! No!
This can get a little gnarly, Q, so if you don't like horror-y shit, you should probably not watch.
The time left to you is precious. No one should die in vain. Mother, I...
No, it's pretty gnarly. I'm sorry, Akali. I tried to tell the carriers what happened, but I can't be the shoulder they lean on. Not like this. I was more shocked that it was in a Final Fantasy game. I was like, what the? I was not prepared. It's just so unfair. Tesleen was always so cheery with the patients, telling them not to be scared and that there wouldn't be any pain of all the people in the world to suffer such a fate. I imagine you're just as shocked as the rest of us, so I appreciate what you're doing here. Me? I can barely... I don't have the words. Without a body, we can't even give her a proper burial. And she cared about that sort of thing, about giving people a chance to say their goodbyes. Oh, this is some sick armor. I wonder if this is the Dragoon headpiece with... I don't know. It's really pretty, though. I wish I could see what chocobos were wearing. It might be a Mog station.
You just click it and examine it.
You can see what the chocobos were?
Yeah, he's got demonic barding for the head. It's all demonic barding except for the footies, which is red mage barding.
I didn't know you could do that to people's chocobos. The demonic barding, I think, is Mog station. About what I expected. Halric is unresponsive as ever. He stands motionless, staring up into the sky where the Sin Eaters made their escape. Alizé is lost in grief. Alizé. Thank you. What you're doing, it means a lot to them, to me. Sorry to interrupt. We realized we hadn't thanked you for rescuing Halric. You weren't hurt at all, were you? Hurt? There wasn't even a fight. I was too late, too slow, and I thought I could protect you. You can't blame yourself for things beyond your control. You brought Halric back safe and sound. No one could have done any more. I'm sorry, but I've come to a decision. I won't be continuing my role here. I hope you will forgive me for leaving you, and that you will delay Halric's last meal for as long as you possibly can. Not until it's too late, of course. Just give him what time you can. We always do. Of course, she would have done the same. Farewell, Halric. Keep Tesleen's words close to your heart. Wait, you're leaving this very moment? I understand how you must feel, but surely this is a bit hasty. Do you even have anywhere to go? I have a destination in mind, yes, and a purpose. This damn light, building without cease, it's the reason we can't save those corrupted by the Eaters. But what if we corrected the balance? Even if it were only little by little, even if it took years, it would surely make things better. Now hold on there, everyone knows there's too much light, but how could you ever hope to get rid of it? You'd have to change the whole world. That's right. We should return to the Crystallarium. I may not be able to repel the Eaters on my own, but I can still use the skills I have gained here to hurt them. We're heading all the way back. You okay, Miss Q?
Yee. Are we not going back to the Crystallarium?
No, I don't think so. Alizé, I think, is right here. I don't know, though. I'm not gonna risk it. It says speak with her at the Red Saray, which I think is still here. Oh, I could be wrong. Please. Yeah, no, we wanted to be here.
Wasted money for nothing.
Yeah? Akali, good to see you again. You look like you've got a story or two to tell, but I sense you'd sooner get back to the Crystallarium. Forgive me, Akali, I could not stay there a moment longer, but I was serious about what I said. While the men and women at the inn battle against the Blight with kindness, I must fight it in my own way, with steel. From Eorzea's sword in the darkness to Novrent's sword in the light? Gods above, it feels like an age ago now. Miss Alizé, is there anything I can get you? You are swiftest in Morrow. I need to return to the Crystarium immediately. As you wish. Remind me to wear goggles if we ever fly over Amarang again. I've barely gotten the sand out of my eyes. But the wind did help clear my mind at least. I think I'm ready to meet with the Exarch. We need to talk about how we're going to wipe the Sin Eaters out, shall we? Thank you for seeking me out, Akali. It meant a lot to have you there at my side. I was tempted to set off again the moment we had decided upon a direction, but you still have to visit Alpha now, haven't you? And if I know my brother, he'll be on the cusp of discovering something vital to our success, if he hasn't already. I'm content to stay here and consider our options for the time being, but don't keep me waiting too long, eh? The Crystal Exarch is eager for you to meet Alphino. You will visit Alphino in Kalusia, then. Excellent. As I mentioned, your destination is an island off the west coast, so you will need a mount capable of making the journey. Here's a letter of introduction presented to Sazim Dishman, the Master of Beasts at Timonos Rookery, and he will take care of you. When you see Alphino, be sure to pass on my warmest regards. Rookery. Your face is unknown to me. What business have you at my rookery? Signed by the Exarch, no less. Yes, I can provide you with an armaro for passage to Kalusia. I will pick you out a friendly whelp. Armaro are often used for travel, then? That's right. Mounts like my gray friend over there are a common sight in these parts. But I gather you all hail from further afield, more accustomed to chocobos, perchance. I hear that there are a few places where they ride little else. Seeing as you are plainly accustomed to riding Amaro, unaccustomed to riding Amaro, I think it best I accompany you on this flight myself. Any Zune worthy of the name could do it, of course, but the Exarch sent you to me, assuring you arrive safely is my responsibility. Gather your things and meet me at the Amaro launch. One of the junior tamers will attend you while I ready the mounts. You want to fly in Amaro to Kalusia? Well, I suppose if Master Jemja is going with you. Wait here, please. The Master should be along with the mount shortly. You can now travel to Kalusia. Speak with the aspiring Amaro tamer to fly to the island.
The whistling breeze, mute. The pounding surf, frozen. Time itself takes a breath. At light's edge, all is perfectly still. The world captured in a painting, locked in a moment. Music, faint and fleeting, drifts coastward on the lifeless air. And in the distance, beyond the broken earth, a city beckons.
We are arrived. This is the Cracked Shell Beach on the eastern coast of Kalusia. You should be safe here for the present. Compared to the mainland, singular attacks are less prevalent, and the native beasts are not any more dangerous than elsewhere. It is the people you should be wary of. Spy you that city in the distance? That is Yulmore, the island's main settlement. It rivals the Crystarium in scale, and was once an ally in our battle against the abominations. For years, the Yulmorian elite have fancied themselves the masters of what remains of our broken world. They have gone as far as to offer the leaders of other settlements their protection, if we bend the knee. But to say their ideals are questionable would be putting it mildly. The Crystarium is one among many who resist their heavy-handed authority, and while we are not at war, our relationship with Yulmore is strained at best. It may be wise to conceal your ties with the XX during your stay here, especially in the vicinity of the city. I'm glad we understand each other. Now, the Exarch has instructed me to divulge a secret that should make finding your friend a good deal easier. Listen closely. Whatever Sam Dejma has to tell you, he plainly seems it worthy of your undivided attention. If you head south along the coast, you will eventually come to a fisherman's shack. A friend of the Crystarium lives there, a man who goes by the name of Ivor. Ivor keeps an eye on everything that happens in Kalusia and will be able to point you in the right direction. Just hand him a sprig of thyme, and that will let him know that you can be trusted. Here, this should be enough. Find your friend. I will stay here with the Amaro until you are ready to return. Ugh. What you after? Fish, crab? Think I've got an eel in a barrel somewhere if you've got a taste for 'em. Oh, I do love a bit of thyme. Chuck some in the pan and it's like a bloody festival of flavor. Now, what is it I can do for you? Can't say there's been any major upsets to report these past few weeks. Elfino, eh? I know the one. Our young champion of the downtrodden. Yulmore is richer than all of Nullred put together, but it's a different story for them as live outside the city. Most spend their waking moment just trying to stay alive, which makes your friend's dedication to helping others stand out all the more. Aye, I can hazard a guess as to where he is now. Get a message to him, but you'll need somewhere quiet to meet, away from prying eyes. Make for Stilltide. That's the fishing village just up the path there. You'll be looking for a rundown excuse for a tavern the locals call the Leaky Keel. Wait there and I'll see that Alphino joins you. Q's little Illuminati has seen some shit.
I mean, so has your Alpha. He's seen some shit too.
Oh, he hasn't been around as long.
I mean, the transformation was pretty messed up.
It was messed up. This is a jank little tavern. This is your first time in the tavern? It's customary to buy a drink if you mean to loiter. What'll you be having? Ale. A fine choice. And what will you be paying with? Well, these are exotic. Where did you come by coins like that? I'm sorry, dear. I don't doubt they have value, but I don't have a touchstone to test their purity, and I'm not about to go begging for one from the neighbors, so we'll just have to come to some other arrangement. Ah, here's an idea. There's a common to the north where they grow our vegetables, but lately the pests have been eating more of them than we have. What do you say to a bit of extermination work? I want you to squash any vermin you find and visit the caretaker and give him an earful from me for sleeping on the job. He'll be in the old silo next to the fence, snoring like as not. Do that for me, and you can laze about here as long as you like. Ooh. Hmm?
I couldn't find you.
I was helping this other dancer. I didn't want to spawn multiple.
Oh, I saw Princess Kit, but I didn't see you, so I'm like, well, I'm not here to help her.
No response. Maybe you need to knock louder. No response. Perhaps the occupant is hard of hearing? You hear a faint squeaking from the room beyond. Time to burst in and save the day, brave adventurer. No one is home, and judging by the lack of furniture, they haven't been for some time. The gnawed scraps of vegetables on the floor suggest rats have taken up residence in their absence. As is they are wont to do. Those black mages. Welcome back, dear. What did the good-for-nothing caretaker have to say for himself? Gone? Must have left to join the rest of the hopefuls. In Gaytown, outside Yulmore? You don't have a clue what I'm talking about, do you? And there I was thinking you were another dreamer. Well, never mind all that. Take a seat wherever you like, dear. You've more than earned it. I'll throw another drink. On the house.
And how is business today, Mistress Theva?
Oh, frenetic. Look, I have a new customer.
Tis good to see you, my friend. The barley seeds you wanted. They should produce a better harvest than the last.
What, just like that? Oh, Alphino, you really are a dear. Well, I'd best be tidying up some of those empty shacks before the pests move in. Keep an eye on the place while I'm out, eh?
seems an age since last we spoke. Not since the prisoner exchange in Doma. And Yotsu.
Oh, that's right. It has been a hot minute since we've actually
It has
talked to
been even
Alphino.
longer for me, of course, if you count the days I've spent here. The time has only added to the relief I feel seeing you safe and well.
We thought we'd lost you.
Huh. Alize said much the same thing. I don't think I've ever had such a scolding. But I believe an exchange of news is in order. Come, tell me of your arrival and all that came before. I see. Both the Exarch and Alize told me what they knew of events, but I had stubbornly clung on to the hope that all-out war might yet be avoidable. And poor Tataru. She must be sick with worry. We must endeavor to return as soon as we may. It would be nice to bring her good tidings for a change. But before we bid this world farewell, we must first ensure that it is not rejoined to the source. We must prevent the 8th Umbral calamity. Urianger's vision of the future has, I fear, every chance of coming true. By his description, the catalyst for the calamity was a formless and deadly weapon employed by the Garlean Empire. Which can only mean one thing. Black Rose. Gaius was telling you the truth. When we were on the trail of the Ascians, we saw evidence that the gas was being manufactured once more. Gaius was adamant that the project had been scrapped. But so long as there are wars to be waged, there will always be those determined to win by any means. And thus simply destroying the existing stores of Black Rose would do little to alter fate's course.
Sitting at the
sense,
Starbucks,
our
writing the
involuntary
novel.
journey here to the first was something of a boon. Together with the Exarch, we've developed a theory as to how we believe the rejoining will be set in motion. I'm sure Urianger himself will cover the subject in more detail. But I can tell you the process requires that both worlds, the Source and the First, be facing an existential threat. One being Sin Eaters, of course. They are a menace that I would dearly love to remove, and not just to avert a calamity. I may be a stranger to this world, but I will not stand idly by and let innocent people be slaughtered. That is what brought me to the gates of Yulmore. Ignoring its pretensions as a kind of capital city to what remains of the world, it is nonetheless a center of power and authority. If any solutions are to be found, I believe our search should begin there. What say you, old friend? Hungry for another adventure? And so we take to the road once more.
Alphino is ready to take to the road once more. Assuming you have no objections, let us make our way directly to the city outskirts. If we have time, if we time our arrival just right, you may be lucky enough to see what I have yet to holy crap. If we time our arrival just right, you may be lucky enough to see why I have yet to set foot in Yulmore, despite my best efforts to do so. Come, from here we must head west, and then across a small bridge.
Partly everything you've said about Alphino is true. And that's why his new outfit suits him perfectly.
Has he not grown on you since ARR?
No.
He really hasn't?
No.
Oh, he's much better than he was.
Yes. But he's still bad. He's what I imagine Urianger was like when he was a kid.
Kalusha seems peaceful. Convolution seems peaceful, does it not? Almost familiar. I had a similar impression of the Crystarium. Even in this distant world, people are much the same. To think that whenever a calamity struck the source of a reflection such as this one, with all its culture and history, was being erased from existence. No, no! Get away from me! Over there! Quickly, someone's in trouble. I was kind of waiting for them to finish. Oh, they're in a cutscene. My poor heart. Thank you, young miss. Ah, there you are. In my haste, I lost my bearings, but I see you have the situation well in hand. Fine work. Are you all right, madam? Just a few bruises from where I fell. Nothing compared to what was in store for me before this brave soul came to my rescue. I honestly thought I was done for. My feet are not as swift as they once were, and I knew there was no one left to hear me scream. Not that I'd let that stop me. I should probably leave my old house behind and queue up outside Yulmore with the rest of them. Doubt those fancy lords and ladies would welcome an old crone like me. Still, even a shack near the gate has to be safer than staying here. One would hope. Either way, I suggest you avoid wandering alone, lest you make the Sin Eater's task any easier. Thank you again. You saved my life. Now I'm sure a strapping lass like you has little to fear, but I wouldn't linger long in this place. There's naught to be had but cobwebs and memories. 'Tis as the lady says, many in these parts have abandoned their homes to live in Yulmore's shadow. Should the Sin Eaters descend upon this region, there are precious few with the strength to fight them off. Speaking of which, what have you been told of these monsters? Ah, yes, Alizé would be well qualified to speak on the subject. Compared with Amarang, Kalusia is almost a haven, but as you saw, we cannot let our guard down. Had you arrived but a few moments later, the Sin Eaters would have claimed yet another victim. Still, we have won a small victory this time. At least now we shall press on. We need to return to where the road forks and follow the path that leads west.
That gate up ahead is known as the Open Arms, and Yulmore itself lies beyond. This, meanwhile, is the aptly named Gate Town, the dwelling place of the many desperate souls who hope to be chosen to live in the city proper.
Ah, I thought I recognized you. Brought a new friend, eh? I'll bet you got a trick or two up your sleeve. Maybe even 3. Care to show me?
She's not here to compete. Leave her be.
What? I was only making conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please! Greetings to our hopeful petitioners, one and all. Yulmore extends its warmest regards. Let it be known that a lady of distinction wishes to dine on FFXIV. We seek a master culinarian who can guarantee seafood perfection. Dazzle the matron with your delicious dishes, and life in the city will be yours to enjoy, even on days when fish is not on the menu.
And these two are a big Final Fantasy IX reference.
I thought so.
Yeah, yeah.
Who among you
I
would
was gonna
answer the
ask.
call? Name yourself or another. We might not at all.
Was there anyone?
What about that girl?
Do you recall how I said Yulmore was a center of power and authority? Well, that is not the only reason for its fame. It is also known as the City of Final Pleasures. The noble and the wealthy who survived the flood gathered here to live out the rest of their days in decadent abandon. A poor man could sooner pass through the Iron Needle than Yulmore's gates. The only way the common folk can enter this perverted paradise is if they fulfill the whim of one of the privileged. And so they are picked over like market produce.
What a catch! We'll not be throwing this one back. Having seen your all too obvious charms, we welcome you with open arms. Come, join us in the City of Splendor and live out your life in an ecstasy of endeavor.
This is Sadhu's voice actor.
Whose voice actor is that?
Sadhu. She was
Oh, just look at those expectant faces.
the
What
wild,
could you
the
possibly
wild
be
black
waiting
mage in the
for?
steppe. Wait till sun.
Well, what have we here? An extra share of meal to celebrate our newest resident! For you!
Ah, look!
Enjoy!
Thank goodness.
Meal is a foodstuff which Yulmore routinely doles out to the people of Gate Town, and apparently a staple for its citizens as well. Many here rely on it to survive in these times of scarcity, yet the whole arrangement just seems... well, let us just say it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
It's just bread, Sprightly. Give me one of them loaves. But yeah, the two jesters are a Final Fantasy IX reference, and then Vothri. Oh, didn't mean to say the name. The leader of Yulmore parallels the Queen of Final Fantasy IX to some degree. Now you understand why my attempts to enter the city have thus far come to naught. The dubious privilege of residency must be won via a contest with ever-changing rules. They say this policy has been in place for the past 2 decades, ever since Yulmore's current ruler came into power. Yet from what I have seen, it does more harm than good. Not only does it distract people from our shared struggle against the Sin Eaters, it robs them of their self-sufficiency. I have tried to propose ways that they could improve their lot, but my words inevitably fall on deaf ears. The attitude is so entrenched now, I worry that, well, mayhap you should just take a turn around Gate Town and judge the situation for yourself. Let's go back first. Still here, are you? You can't blame me for wanting a slice of Yulmore's pie. If you ask me, you should just ditch that sour-faced brat and make a home for yourself here. Gate Town's not much to look at, but at least it's safe, and the mole is the best thing I've ever tasted. I will say that the mole does not look very appetizing. It looks like the blandest bread that you could ever put in your mouth.
Yeah, you didn't hear me, but as soon as you finished your sentence, I just mumbled, "That's sad."
That's some sad-looking bread. That being said, I would like to have me a slice. A large pot bubbles over the flame. Pale chunks, mole, you realize, float in the otherwise plain broth. Oh, tasteless bread with tasteless soup is still gonna be tasteless, my dude.
I don't even think it's soup. I think it's just hot water.
I guess suppose a flavorless broth is just water. Just look at it. Can you imagine a more beautiful city? Every day I dream of the life that waits me inside those walls. Oh, will they ever pick me?
It does look really cool.
It does look very cool. I don't know if you've noticed how this world parallels. Like, this is Limsa Lominsa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we were at Ul'dah before. The Fairy Kingdom is where Ishgard is in the source.
Ether current.
Hmm?
Ether current.
My god. And wait, I will give you a second to catch up.
Yeah, I just kind of stopped and looked around at all the land, and it is Limsa.
Yeah.
Because like all the land is the same. I'm like, oh, that's where the farms should be, and the geography is
Yeah.
the same.
Is it neat? You can open your map. And you can do like, you can see like the actual drawn map version. It is just Limsa Lominsa. You've seen what Gate Town has to offer? These people can no longer fend for themselves. They've become dependent on handouts of mole, and believe Yulmore is the answer to all their woes. Yet no matter how I frame my encouragement, they seem unwilling, nay unable, to conceive of any other way of life. I'm wearing a level 50 belt. Ooh. How had this come to be? I am that problematic person in the roulettes. Elvenar wears a look of profound disapproval. This will probably be the last quest we can do. You disapprove of Yulmore? 'Tis difficult to make a final judgment without first seeing the city's inner workings. Mayhap it is that uncertainty which always makes me feel so ill at ease here. Not that it matters. However unjust the system seems to me, if these people claim to be content with their lot, it is hardly my place to criticize their choices. But take that elderly lady you rescued. Does it not seem that those who have chosen to forego Yulmore's largesse are doomed to suffer for their independence? In the end, they are all but forced to seek refuge in Gatetown, and so hamlets and fields across the land are left empty and untended, hastening the region's descent into ruin. Nay, I am not convinced that Yulmore's generosity truly serves the best interests of Kaluja's people. I am not so naive as to think there is some miraculous solution to all of this, yet I cannot help but frown at the sight of hard-working villagers struggling to survive, even as the chosen few rejoice at being plucked from poverty by the hand of a capricious noble. There has to be a better way. I will not know for sure, however, until I have taken these long-delayed steps through Yulmore's gates. 'Tis fortunate that you arrived when you did, Akali. I've been working on a scheme to insinuate myself into the city, and if all goes to plan, it should soon come to fruition. There is a beast tribe who makes its home in the sea surrounding the island, the Undo, they are called, though you and I know them as the Sahagan. For the most part, they keep to themselves in their ocean grottos, and rarely have dealings with land dwellers. But, as Sataru took such great pains to impress upon me during our stay in Kugane, business favors the bold, and so I reached out to them. I duly discovered that the Undo are inordinately fond of land-grown produce, fresh fruits in particular, and when I offered to procure such goods for them, they promised to pay me in pearls, an attractive business venture for any prospective investor. Would you not agree? Surely even those most jaded Yulmorian lord would have time for a merchant who can make pearls from plums and pumpkins. Yes, I've come a long way since my days of buying samurai swords without first negotiating a price. My appointment with the Undo is due to take place in a few hours. I just need to collect the produce and meet with them on the shore. Might you help me with the exchange? Excellent. I should be glad of your company. First things first, then. We must pay a visit to Moshe Mao, my supplier in Right. Come, it's just to the northwest of here.
Your target is not in range. I'm right under you. Are we not friends?
We are.
There we go.
This is a void whale though, so it's more like...
I was gonna say ooh while like shaking my mic. Like putting my hands on it and going
Yes.
but that would ruin your ears.
Probably. This thing turns like a dime. Is there something I can do for you, friend? Good day to you, Moshe Moa. This is my associate Akali. We are here to collect the produce I purchased. Eh? I loaded your lackey up with the goods not long ago. My lackey? I know of no such person. Mr. Lad? Short blue hair? No, he said he'd come on your behalf, and since he seemed to know all the details, I just assumed. Confound it, someone must have been eavesdropping on our conversation. If this charlatan was here not long ago, he cannot have gone far. We should split up and search the area. You find a vantage point on the south side of town, and I shall take the west. We've been bamboozled.
Don't forget to touch the rock.
Have I not? I thought I touched this rock when I first got. Oh my god. Oh, this is a
No,
different
you didn't.
town. That's what it is.
Just went straight by it.
I did. I thought we were in the same town. That man went straight for you with an anger and hate in his tree heart.
His roots.
And right in his deep in his roots, he wanted to punch you.
How dare I eat all these Butterfingers to get this.
Are we finally out of Butterfingers?
Oh yeah, we've been out of Butterfingers for a while.
Oh, good.
Oh, I passed it.
Q ate so many Butterfingers. So many people could have mouths. A true hero. Search the surroundings for a male mistil with short blue hair. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Target a likely suspect and inspect him.
He's the only person that I see.
It does seem like the only person. You have located your quarry. I don't know what it is about like the telescope minigame thing that they do, but you do it constantly in Shadowbringers. It really wants you to do it all the time. Akali, any sign of him? You've a keen eye. Let us move in before he makes good on his escape. Yeah, it's the first person minigame and then like playing as the NPCs. The game is really hard up about that. Q is queen of the Butterfingers.
The thief who claimed the harvest on my behalf. Hand it over.
Well, forgive me. I have to get into the city. I have no family and all my friends have already been chosen. No one here gives a damn about me. When the meal gets handed out, I'm lucky if I get a smell of it. No matter what I do, they won't call out my name. I'm so tired, I'm so bloody hungry. I thought maybe I could steal your idea, get in that way.
What is your name?
Kai Shear.
Tell me then, Kai Shear, must it be Yulmore or nothing? What of the Christerium? They may not offer charity, but you would be fairly compensated for any work you did.
No, it has to be Yulmore. That's where all my friends are. We made a promise that we'd live together in paradise.
I was to make my deal with the Ondo at the Clave. Listen carefully, and I shall tell you my plans for the business, and how best to arouse the Yulmorans' interest.
You'll give me your place? Just like that?
I'm giving you a chance, nothing more. What comes of it is entirely up to you.
I understand. Oh, thank you, thank you!
This was but one path. There will be others. But for young Kaishia, it was the difference between life and death. I do not regret my decision, yet I will admit that a part of me wonders if it was for the best. We strive to bring swift salvation to this world, that countless lives might be saved, not least your own. Even if it came at the cost of one man, should I have forged on regardless?
That's not who you are.
I suppose not. Were Estinian here, he would most likely scoff at my soft-heartedness.
Same old Alfino, ever the slave to sentiment.
But I thank you for your kind words nonetheless. Let us see to it that both these stories have a happy ending. Shall we return to Wright then? Is that? I can't be sure, but I think someone's in trouble. Come on, they may need our help.
I don't know why they think their lives would be better inside the city. I have to imagine that the city treats them even worse. That they're working like 20 hours a day and still have no food.
They don't know, though, because they've never been there.
It's true.
The grass is always greener on the other side. Here, he's breathing, I think, though he won't last long without help. That should take care of the worst of his injuries. Mercy, I beg you. Breathe easy, sir. No harm will come to you here. The poor man is shivering. Pray keep an eye on him while I get a fire going. I thought for certain I was dead. How can I ever repay this kindness? We'll settle for the tale behind your current predicament. Why don't you begin by telling us your name? Roz? Probably, like, really endearing. Keep hanging on, sort of, like, stuff like that. Tristal. I was invited to Yulmore to work as an artist. A wealthy couple took me in to paint pictures for them, but when my style proved contrary to their taste, they just as quickly turfed me out into the street. I was left penniless and patronless, a grave sin in Lord Vothry's city. Within days, they had brought me before the man himself, and he asked me what I meant to do. Dejected as I was, I told them that I wished to leave. Little did I know how soon he would grant me my wish. They flung me over the balustrade in the goddamned ocean. From up there? How were you not dashed to pieces? Don't ask me. Luck, I suppose. Though if you hadn't found me when you did, it wouldn't have counted for much. Monstrous. And the citizens condone such barbaric punishment. Oh, without a second thought. When Lord Valthree passes judgment, no one so much as blinks, let alone argues. In Yulmore, his word is law. Ah, that fire's chased the chill from my bones. Thank you again. The more I hear about Yulmore, the more determined I am to see what waits within its walls. I shall bend all my thoughts towards securing another way into the city. There must be something we can do. But first, we should convey Tristal to shelter of the village. Fire or no fire, he needs to be out of this chilly coastal air. A way into the city?
Is Crystal gonna break us in?
I don't think this is bullshit. I don't think Tristal can break us in, but he was a painter. I don't know how much you've been paying attention, but Elfino is something of an artiste himself. Yeah, so he's made us, like, he's drawn the pictures of Yigiri and Gogetsu. I believe if you have the Y'shtola minion, when he saw her naked, he was able to perfectly recreate her form, much to her displeasure. Pray accept my deepest gratitude. I owe you both my life, and if you'll permit me, I would assist you in your attempt to enter Yulmore, insofar as I am able, at any rate. To be frank, the thought of sending my saviors into that awful place makes me sick to the stomach, but since it's plain you set your minds on it, you should take this. It's my favorite paintbrush. The Yulmorian elite are never satisfied until they get exactly what they want, and if I'm not mistaken, the couple I mentioned will be looking for someone to replace me. If you make a show of owing such a well-used brush, you may be able to convince people you have a talent for painting. Are you certain? This is your livelihood. We cannot deprive you of such a treasured possession. I'd give it gladly after all you've done for me. Besides, I don't think I have the heart to paint anymore. As to what I'll do instead, I honestly haven't decided, but I shan't stay in this place, not with that city brooding over me. Nay, I shall move on to new lands and a new profession, and I'll keep you in my prayers from now until my dying day. Elfino wastes the brush you received from... Oh, no, we are actually calling it here. I forgot. we are touch over time at this point, I believe. So, we will continue this tomorrow. Yes? So, things are looking quite tight as far as Shadowbringers goes. I think we have 5 weeks. So, every week I will have to evaluate where we are and if I have to switch Final Fantasy to, the rest of the week. With any hope, I think with any luck, we will have to switch it just for the last week before Endwalker comes out. But we shall see. As I said before, the Shadowbringers Gathering Points raffle has already started. So everyone, Q, if you want to type !stars and show off your stars, you can't win though. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So definitely, it'll be 5,000 stars per raffle ticket, which will happen just before Endwalker drops. So I think the day before they shut down the servers. Yeah. So the more stars you have, then you can win the Mog Station item. And then when Endwalker starts, we'll do the Endwalker raffle, which is the Warriors of Light plushies, your custom Warrior of Light, or an NPC, whatever you want, that Q and I make, and we're going to be giving 2 of those and another Mog Station item, right, Q? Yeah. So that'll be very, very good. That's the Endwalker prize. For Shadowbringers, though, it's just the $25 Mog Station item. So collect them stars. If you are active in chat, you get more stars, but just being in chat gets you stars as well. And then every time someone subscribes to the channel, everybody gets more stars. I think it's 1,000 stars, so I have to double check the numbers, but good luck, everybody. We will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. EST, and we hope to see you there. Have a lovely, lovely evening, and goodbye.